What you're looking at is one frame from a video that my story is focused around. Now, the video is much too violent to actually show to you here on YouTube, but I am going to play you the audio, and so, of course, viewer discretion is advised when listening to that audio. But first, let me tell you a quick story about what led up to this moment. In the year 2019, I had just 2 years left to serve in my 10-year sentence in the South Carolina state prison system. During these last 2 years, my cellmate was the highest ranked Crip member in the entire state of South Carolina. Not the country, not the world, but as far as South Carolina, he was the head guy. And one thing about him, everyone who was kind of lower ranked than him and under him, and that he had influence and say so over in this prison around him, they didn't resent him for that. Actually, they looked up to him and they admired him and respected him as the strong leader type. And anything he said to do, they would do it in a heartbeat. And so they were all too ready to look towards him and wait for any type of idea or plan, blueprint about what to do about this issue that had arisen the day that another Crip member had entered the cell block. Now, was he a part of this direct branch of the Crips? Because you do have Crips, and then you have kind of these branch offs under the Crip name called lineups. Now, my cellmate, his lineup was the most prestigious and the most kind of the face of the state of South Carolina at this time. But this other Crip member who had just entered the cell block, now he was a part of a different lineup, and he was the head man of that. And he had been claiming on the outside of prison, because he was new to prison, he had just gotten there, and unfortunately had ended up, of all places and of all cell blocks, the last one you'd want to enter into if you were him. When he was outside of prison, he had been making a big ruckus on social media and just around these local areas of the upstate of South Carolina about how they were taking over. They were the new face of South Carolina. They were the new lineup who was the end-all be-all when it came to the Crips in this state. And my cellmate, the head man of the other lineup, he didn't like that. He didn't like it one bit. So immediately, this is still day one of this other Crip member entering this cell block. The head member, my cellmate of this other lineup, immediately calls an emergency meeting with all of his heavy hitters. See, the thing that was so dangerous about these guys, not only were they, yes, heavy hitters, but they were very cunning and deceptive and sinister with how they went about luring and setting up their victims and their targets into these positions to where then they would hit them heavily. And that's where this chilling conversation comes in that I was able to overhear. And how was I able to overhear it? Well, it's all about, just by chance, the positioning of where my cell was in this entire cell block, which is a very large top and bottom floor cell block. See, there are about 3 to 4 areas of this cell block that are kind of more like miniature hallways that run off from the main square of this big floor where all the inmates will come out and congregate and play cards and stuff. But these little mini hallways there out of sight of the cameras that they have in these cell blocks. And they're just, it's just a more private part of this building. And what these guys will do, and what these guys did, these Crips, when they want to have these meetings back there, they'll bring a bed sheet. One of the members will bring a bed sheet out of their room and kind of unfold it and jam it using a plastic spork on this side and on this side, and kind of jam it into these cracks, the little crevices of the door of these 2 cell blocks across from each other, and kind of just make a bed sheet wall blocking off the view, and just kind of letting people know, hey, don't come close. There's a gang having a meeting over here. And people would. Everyone knew what that meant. But just so happens, the place they would always put this bed sheet, my cell and the cell beside mine, were always kind of behind this point of the bed sheet. And because it's such an echoey hallway, everything's cement and tile floor, it echoes. And it's very easy. It's clear as day to hear exactly everything that these guys were saying. And what they were saying, man, it'll give you chills. You see, they knew that this new Crip had entered the cell block, but they were fairly certain that he didn't know that they were there. They were more like this pack of wolves at the top of this cliff that had gazed down and saw, some prey that they were waiting on and very excited to see, but he hadn't thought to look up and notice them and realize that he's outnumbered, he's in danger, and trouble is headed his way. And indeed it was, to where he would be able to make the smarter decision to maybe get out of there while he could. But they wanted to ensure that didn't happen. Now, a lot of people may be glad enough just to know that their enemy or their opponent has run away from them, run away from this danger, the threat that they pose to them. And they'd be satisfied with just the pride and the ego boost of that. No, they didn't want that. What was that? That was nothing to them. They wanted to get their hands on him. They wanted to teach him a lesson he would never forget. Not only did they want to teach him this lesson, they wanted everyone to see and know the lesson he's being taught. And anyone who ever had any question or any doubt of who ran the Crips in the state of South Carolina, well, they wanted there to be no further question or doubt in their mind again after this. And so they started talking and discussing this plan of how to lure this new Crip up to this area, the exact area they were in now. Just how clever and smart they were about how they were going to go about it, who they would send, who would be the least threatening, who was the best, socially, who's the best talker, who's the most friendly, who is able to not come across, like there's any trouble brewing here or there's any ulterior motives. Let's talk. And they even had backup plans, plan B, plan C. If he does figure something out, he does figure out you're a Crip. If he does figure, plan A, let's go up here and share a cigarette and get to know each other. Plan B, if you figure out I'm a Crip, you see one of my tattoos, something like that. Well, it could all lead back to the ultimate plan. Hey, listen, we know about all this stuff going on. We want peace. We respect you. We respect what you do out there. And we know you're about it. We know you're a force to be reckoned with. And you know what? We want unity. We should come together. Why are we doing this? Man, let's go up here and talk. Let's figure this thing out. Let's squash the problems. Let's squash the beef. Let's come together and be a force that all these other gangs are going to have to reckon with. Wouldn't we be so strong together? I mean, look how strong you are. Look what you've done. Look how many people follow your orders. You're a great leader. I mean, just breaking down the psychology of how to stroke his ego when needed, or, this, and if he's on to this, or if he seems suspicious about this, then maybe we should do this, and just concocting this devious plan to where anything that could go wrong, there was an answer for it, and a good one. All with the end goal of get him to the danger zone. And where was I? Front row, great seats, right there. Just hearing this, I was like, man, imagine being him. You have a pack of hungry wolves right now plotting on how they just step one step too far into this hallway. Please do it. We can smell what we want to do to you. We want to get you so bad. Just step this way. We're going to say and do and go about this any way we have to just to get you there. And then as soon as we do, you're done. And he was. Shortly after that, they put their plan in motion. They went to him, and I was in the cell. I don't know exactly how that conversation with him went, but as far as a bone-chilling conversation you overhear in prison, boy, that was one of the top three. One of the top three, just knowing like what's being said and who it's about. Just imagine being that guy, and just, man, makes you question anyone who comes up to me personally. Friendly, small talk, happy-go-lucky, having a good morning. Oh, you want to split a cup of coffee? Oh, well, what are you trying to get me over here so something like this can happen to me? I mean, it really flips your world upside down, just hearing it. And so it is, in fact, bone-chilling. Now, what happened after that is even worse. They did get him up there, and as soon as he stepped up there, well, I'll play the audio. All I'll say about that is every loud thud you heard was someone's head hitting someone's cell door. Now, you may be wondering, how do you even have this video? I understand your cell block was right there, but how do you have this video and in turn have this audio? Well, because I was asked for a favor by that head crip. I was asked to take his contraband cell phone, hold it while they did what they did, and record it from that small sliver of window on that cell door right in front of where this was taking place so that they could later take that video and spread it on social media. Because as you remember, he was before prison out there spreading all this stuff and making all these claims to everyone in the local area as well as social media. And it was picking up a lot of views and engagement. A lot of people saw that and he wanted to set the record straight. And he decided, since you care so much about what social media thinks on this situation, we'll go ahead and show them what the end result of this situation was. He later took that video, uploaded it to social media, and I suppose he wasn't expecting it to take off the way it did, and it quickly, within an hour, started going viral, way beyond what he hoped or wanted. And he became very paranoid. My cellmate, this other head crip, became very paranoid about possibility of consequences from the prison staff and more, just from the widespread sharing that was going on of this clip. And immediately ordered everyone. He reached out to everyone who had originally posted this. Not everyone who shared, but just the original sources of who had posted it on social media, and promptly had it taken down by the morning. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to hear some more bone-chilling conversations, well, I have no shortage of them. Let me know, and I'll be glad to do follow-up videos.